Podcast listeners with long memories may recall a fab fact from, well, a couple of years ago.
Right.
Regarding the departure from Captain Scarlet due to other commitments of voice artists Paul Maxwell and Charles Tingwell after episode 12, Shadow of Fear.
Right.
Today's Fab Fact is going to explore several similar oddities around the voice cast of the original Captain Scarlet. For instance, the fact that it wasn't until the following episode in production, The Heart of New York, that regular Scarlet guest voice artists Gary Files, David Healy and Martin King even received a credit for their work on the show, despite the fact that they'd all been providing voices for about 10 episodes by that point.
All right.
The reason for that seems to have been that, in theory, it was easier to create one master list of all the voice artists on the credits for every episode, and then just keep using that over and over again, rather than creating different lists for every single individual episode. That being an era in which creating captions was very expensive compared to today, when you can just, type it in again.
That's right.
Obviously, for a show like Fireball XL5 with only 4 voice actors for the whole cast and the whole series, that kind of made sense. But for a show with at least 16 regular cast members like Captain Scarlet, that was never going to work.
Right.
However, they tried it anyway, but because of various actors coming and going, the voice artist's credit list was incomplete from episode 2 onwards. For instance, you can hear actor Neil McCallum's voice in Winged Assassin and Big Ben Strikes Again, uncredited, and from around episodes 4, 5 and 6 in production order, you start to hear the likes of Healy, Files and King providing voices, also uncredited. So, when the voice cast list on the end credits was finally updated for The Heart of New York, it now included Healy, Files and King, but not McCallum, who possibly wasn't expected to return. But interestingly retained the now departed Maxwell and Tingwell. Maybe they hope they might come back, or maybe that was used to cover up their performances in clip shows, possibly. It also included another name who must have turned up at the voice studio on that precise day when the cast list caption was being revised. That name was Lianxin Yang.
Aha, lucky.
Who provided the voice of Harmony Angel in place of Harmony's regular voice artist Liz Morgan in the episode The Launching. Now, since Liz hadn't left the show, we're not certain why Lianxin was hired to play Harmony. Obviously, hiring a Chinese actor to voice a character who is either Chinese or Japanese, depending on Harmony's backstory, wherever you read it, is absolutely the right thing to do. But then, for whatever reason, Lianxin never returned to the series after that, so Harmony, who was already a pretty minor character on TV anyway, never spoke again.
Right. Wow.
And since the credits voice cast list was never updated again after that, the likes of Neil McCallum, who returned for 2 more episodes near the end of the show, and Shane Rimmer never received any on-screen credit for their voice work on Captain Scarlet. However, that one perfectly scheduled performance as Harmony got Lianxin Yang's name into the credits for 20 episodes, despite the fact that she only did 1.
Yeah, like it.
Cool.
Good. Lucky her.
That's not fair, is it?
It really isn't fair. I have 2 thoughts about that particular fab fact, Jamie.
Do you?
Firstly, well, when they were making these shows, I don't think it really mattered like it would do now.
Do you think?
I don't think people took that much notice of the credits like we do now. I mean, we really get our knickers in a twist about credits now, don't we? We worry about them being shrunk down when we're watching things, and we worry about them being missed off entirely when we're watching various platforms, at the end of shows and so on. But I don't think they really bothered that much then. I don't think. I think it was literally understood that, we didn't have time. We'll just, we'll go with last week's, it's fine. And also, these things were only, as we often say, meant to be watched the once, weren't they?
Well, exactly.
Not poured over again.
No, they certainly weren't expecting us to pour over it, 55 years later.
Yeah. But secondly, it must make an absolute nightmare for those, TV historians and archivists who like to keep IMDb updated with, the credits for every episode of every TV show ever. Very difficult to research, I would think, exactly who was doing which voice and when.
Oh, extremely tricky.
They're not credited. Yeah.
Extremely tricky. Yeah, and I suppose for these artists, they were just popping in for the day, doing an hour or two's work and then disappearing. Yeah. They didn't know that it was going to be big, and they didn't know it would carry on. And
it was probably a thing that they never thought they'd hear from ever again.
Exactly, and if you ask most of them, probably, about those episodes or those stories, they wouldn't remember them really. It's just a tiny piece of a much bigger career. So
yeah.
There you go. Oh well, they're getting credited now on in the medium of audio. So there we go.
That's nice.
Yeah.
Good.